The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council had witnessed countless species petition for membership over the millennia, but never had the assembled delegates seen anything quite like the humans. Ambassador Chen Wei stood at the presentation podium, her dark eyes scanning the 1,000 representatives from across the known galaxy, each one regarding her species with barely concealed contempt. "Another primitive species from the Outer Rim," muttered Counselor Thexnar, his mandibles clicking with amusement. The insectoid diplomat's translation matrix broadcast his words to the entire chamber. "They've barely achieved faster-than-light travel, and already they seek a seat among the civilized races." Ambassador Chen's expression remained perfectly neutral, though inside she felt a flicker of satisfaction. They had no idea what was coming. "Esteemed counselors," she began, her voice steady and clear, "humanity formally requests consideration for full membership in the Galactic Council. We understand this is traditionally granted only to species who have demonstrated significant technological advancement and peaceful intentions." A wave of derisive laughter rippled through the chamber. The Vexthor representative, a towering crystalline being, spoke next. "Your species has been in space for less than 3 centuries. The youngest current member has been spacefaring for 12,000 years. What could you possibly offer this council?" Chen smiled slightly. "A demonstration, if you'll permit it. We've prepared something special." The council's high administrator, an ancient being known only as the prelate, gestured with one of his 6 arms. "Very well. The council recognizes that humanity has requested a technological demonstration. This is highly irregular, but we shall allow it. Show us what you believe makes your species worthy." The chamber's holographic displays activated, showing a section of empty space in the contested neutral zone, an area where no species held claim. Within moments, space itself seemed to ripple and distort. Then they appeared. 7 massive vessels materialized from nowhere, each one larger than the council's own flagship. But it wasn't their size that caused the chamber to fall silent. It was what they were made of. The ships seemed to exist in a state between reality and void, their hulls shifting and flowing like liquid shadow. They absorbed light rather than reflected it, creating halos of bent starlight around their impossible forms. The sensors throughout the chamber went haywire, unable to properly register what they were detecting. "Impossible," whispered the Vexthor delegate, all arrogance forgotten. "Those readings, they can't be real." Ambassador Chen's smile widened. "Counselors, may I present the Terran Dark Matter Fleet? Ships constructed from stabilized dark matter, powered by controlled matter-antimatter reactions, and armed with weapons that can manipulate spacetime itself." The prelate leaned forward, his ancient eyes widening. "Dark matter manipulation? That's Class 7 technology. Species don't achieve that until they've been spacefaring for at least 50,000 years. It's theoretically impossible for a young species like ours?" Chen interrupted gently. "That's where you've all made your critical mistake. You've assumed that time spent in space correlates directly with technological advancement, but you've never encountered a species quite like humanity before." She gestured, and the holographic display zoomed in on one of the warships. Its hull rippled, and a portion of it seemed to simply cease existing, creating a perfect sphere of absolute nothingness that swallowed a nearby asteroid without a trace. "Humans don't think like other species," Chen continued. "We're stubborn. We're reckless. When the universe tells us something is impossible, we take it as a challenge. When you all told us that dark matter couldn't be contained, couldn't be manipulated, couldn't be weaponized, we didn't accept that. We tried anyway." Counselor Thexnar found his voice. "This must be some kind of deception. A holographic trick. No species could—" The display shifted again. This time it showed detailed schematics, mathematical equations, and experimental data. Decades worth of research compressed into digestible formats, all proving the same impossible truth. Humanity had cracked one of the universe's most fundamental secrets. 70 years ago, Chen explained, a human physicist named Dr. Sarah Okonkwo theorized that dark matter could be isolated and contained using overlapping quantum fields. Everyone said she was insane. She spent 30 years proving them wrong, another 20 years to weaponize it, 10 more to build a fleet. The chamber remained utterly silent. Even the typically bombastic delegates seemed at a loss for words. The prelate's voice, when he finally spoke, carried a weight of profound realization. "You've built these as a demonstration, not as a threat?" "Correct," Chen affirmed. These 7 ships represent less than 5% of our current dark matter fleet. We have over 150 more in various stages of construction. We're not here to threaten the Council. We're here to join it as equals. She paused, letting that sink in before delivering her final point. But make no mistake, counselors. If the Council chooses to reject our application, humanity will proceed independently. We'll establish our own territories, our own alliances, our own sphere of influence. The galaxy is about to change whether the Council participates in that change or not. For the first time in the Council's 30-million-year history, the chamber remained completely silent for over 5 minutes. No debate, no discussion. Just stunned silence as thousands of the galaxy's most advanced species tried to process what they'd just witnessed. Finally, the prelate spoke, his voice carrying across the silent chamber. The Council will convene an emergency session to discuss humanity's application. Ambassador Chen, you and your delegation will have an answer within the solar day. As Chen bowed and left the podium, she allowed herself a small smile. She had watched the faces of every delegate in that chamber. She had seen the fear, the awe, the sudden recalculation of every assumption they'd held about the young species from Sol 3. The vote, when it came 6 hours later, was unanimous. Humanity was granted full Council membership, along with a seat on the Security Directorate, and a formal apology for the initial dismissive treatment. That night, as Ambassador Chen looked out at the Council homeworld from her diplomatic suite, she thought about Dr. Okonkwo, who had died 5 years before seeing her life's work change the course of human history. She thought about the thousands of scientists, engineers, and dreamers who had refused to accept the word impossible. And she thought about the future, now wide open before humanity, full of infinite possibilities. The galaxy would never underestimate Earth again.